17th of September last year. Man, that really is quite old. Oh well, hey guys, this is GamerCow breaking the replay fourth wall as always, and yeah, this is a run that I put up a while back in my multi-Touhou playing video thing, and it's of the no-focus Scarlet Devil Extra thing. As I say, I'm using Reimu A because, like the other video thing that I used it for, which was the last one, Reimu A, homing Reimu is very good for this sort of thing. The only reason I don't use homing Reimu to play Yukari actually is because Reimu B is just so damn good in that game. You know, she's still got very good power when she is unfocused, and when she's unfocused she has amazing cherry gaining too. And Reimu A in that game is just so weak that really most of her power comes from most of her unfocused power does not come from her homing shots, so that's the thing you've got to remember. But yeah, this run is ancient and I could have put it up a long time ago, but for some reason I decided not to, and I'm too lazy to redo a run which is very good in the first place, so yeah. Don't quite know how I managed to survive that one. It's quite a long time since I've done this, obviously, so that happens. And then we get to Miss Patchouli over here. I like this card. This card can be difficult to do no focus because obviously it's very dense dodging, but because Reimu's speed is slower in this game and you know, it's slower in Cherry Blossom too, but because Reimu's speed is slower here than it is in the modern games, this sort of card is actually not that difficult. Neither is Royal Flare, but Royal Flare is not really that difficult to begin with, because really the idea of this, you do that one dodge there, and then you do this one dodge right there, and once you've learned that, it's trivial. Of course, the difficulty keeps on coming in that getting that first dodge done, and that's the only thing which tends to get me now, but oh well. As for this one, it's one of my only disappointments of this run is that I didn't capture this. I don't think I was going to survive that, so that was a good bomb, but I would have bombed it anyway because Scarlet Devil is notorious for having a ridiculously bad death bomb timer. It's almost an anti-death bomb timer actually, because there have been plenty of times in my history of playing this game where I've bombed consciously about half a second before getting hit and it doesn't register and I die. That's a very common occurrence in this game, and that sort of promotes a cowardice playing thing just because you don't want to fail, you know? Which is not something I like to do, and that's why I don't clear this game very often actually, because the last 3 stages of this, especially because of their rank-induced nature, the last 3 stages of this are really kind of hard. And I did some pretty crazy dodging there, looking at it. Hey, past me was a reckless fool by the looks of it, but yeah. That happens. We only used 1 bomb during the stage itself. I'd say that's quite a good success. That's my expectation level, I guess, is to 1 bomb the stage at worst. I would love to perfect it every time, but it doesn't happen. Because yeah, Flaundra's non-spells, with the exception of 2 of them, even no focus, they're completely ridiculous, and this is the one case where Reimu A is very terrible, because those spell circles attract the homing shots, even though they aren't physical entities. I have no idea why this is, but it means that you lose any ranged effect of your shot type in this particular attack, and because you've got to dodge it in a pseudo particular fashion, you know, because the blue stuff is aimed at you, the purple stuff is always in a particular pattern, so you've kind of got to dodge it in a set style, and that means that you can't really focus on staying underneath Flaundra as much as you would like, and with a shot that doesn't have a lot of power, it takes forever. So there you go. This is one of her only dangerous non-spells, even, especially because I've got homing. I tried not to deliberately stay under her all the time. You know, I didn't force myself to go underneath. And with Levitin, you should really stay underneath her there because it does make it a lot quicker, but I've been killed so many times trying to time this out by doing that. Not because I'm in the wrong position or anything, but for some reason, the very last dodge of that, doesn't work. It kills me every single time, even though I'm in the exact same position as I've dodged it every other wave before the last, like, second. So I generally don't dodge it that way anymore, even though it does mean it takes forever to capture. Something I need to get back to doing, to be honest, but oh well. Throwaway card is throwaway, nothing really to say, and then 4 of a kind is freaking awesome. I still love this card, it's probably still my favourite of this fight. What is there to say is, bullets in a fairly nice pattern, they sometimes stop firing that pattern so they can fire something else, and you've just got to kill the real Flounder, which if you can stay under her does not take very long. Even with Reimu's homing shots not being the best at this one, that one, because they tend to flow away and whatnot. Kagome, the classic puzzle, you know, spell. It's not really a puzzle spell, but every one of these diagonal shots, at least one of the bullets is aimed directly at. I think both of them are actually aimed at you, so yeah, Danmaku interfering with Danmaku, very nice card. The trouble with this one, if you're using, say, Marisa A, is that if Flounder doesn't stay in the center, it can be very difficult to damage her, because you can't really move away from the center, which is always the tough part. The non-spells still completely trivial, by the way. These are probably some of the easiest non-spells in all of the extra stages, actually. And Maze of Love used to give so many problems. It always gives everyone so many problems when they play it first times, but when you get better at the games, particularly after you start playing like Lunatics and whatnot, it becomes much easier, and you feel like a boss when you do that no focus. You really do. It's a pretty awesome feeling, gotta say. Non-spell, still trivial. There's really nothing to this whatsoever. There's no threat to contend with. If you're paying attention, you will not fail that attack. Starboat Break, on the other hand, well, I lost my touch with this one quite a while back, and I know how to do it. This is a decent height to stay at, but I think partly just a no-focus syndrome, and yeah, I panicked. I didn't need that bomb, but I think I moved a little bit too fast, so my panic was that if I didn't bomb there, I would get hit by the slow bullet coming down, and that was just bad days. Don't stay at the bottom, by the way, it's a foolish endeavour, you're just gonna get killed, because of different speed bullets and whatnot. Anyway, this is one of the only remotely challenging non-spells, and even this is not bad. Look at it, there's still plenty of white gaps to get through, and it's not hard. Flounder, your non-spells are disappointing. Catadart Trick, on the other hand, is not exactly disappointing. Even if you do stay in this corner over here, it can be a difficult card. It's not an auto-capture just because you stay in the safe-ish zone. As you can see, there's a lot of bullets to flow around, and if you're not careful... I think it is a defined pattern, however. It's not always the same, but it is always the same for every wave, so like every time you play it, it does the same thing, but each wave individually is not the same as the one before it. Even though it looks it, that's the reason I can't time that card out, because there's one wave later on that just kills me, and I don't know, I haven't tried to pacifist Flounder in a long time now. I've done it several times, but I just haven't played Flounder recently. I haven't played Scarlet Devil as a whole recently, actually, apart from one time where you should probably dodge upwards there, by the way, because although you can get away with doing what I did there, it's riskier. If you just go up the screen, it's a lot safer. And, well, this survival card. I've never had any trouble with this first phase. It looks like it should give trouble, but I very, very, very rarely fail this, and I kind of had my strategy on sight read, so I don't know how to describe that. But usually it does work out in one way, shape or form. I noticed a wall that was going to crush me there, so I decided I would dodge up, and yeah, it's really not hard. I don't know, it doesn't matter how I do it, I seem to almost always find a way through, so there you go. Although I do like to lure into the corners just because I find that better. This thing here, it doesn't really get difficult until the last wave where all of them start congealing a little bit, but these 4 specific patterns, two copies of the yellow one going in opposite directions. This is just what happens. It goes through 3 cycles overall, although the yellow phase of the final cycle almost doesn't get through because the time is so strict at that point. But there are about 3 phases on the screen at once right here, because there's red, there's the yellow still going down. Actually, it does get all 4, it's just the yellow's almost off the screen at that point. As you can see, the yellow was no worry at the end there, so too bad. Then QED, I cannot really capture this card at the best of times. I have captured it about twice, I think. 2 or 3 times in my, if you're career of Touhou. I don't play it very often though, because I don't have access to save states. I've seen a couple of people do, but I don't, especially not for this game, but I don't for any of the games. And that basically means I don't really feel like playing the entire stage to get one shot at this card. Because whilst it's not the longest stage ever, it does take about 11 minutes maybe to get here. And that's assuming that I play well in the first place. Whoa! What? Huh? Why is it stopped? Oh, it lost focus, that's why. Freaking... the window lost focus, and because it's got no border, I couldn't see it. Anyway, yeah, it's getting fast, and it's getting kind of dense. It takes quite a long time because Reimu A is not very powerful, and, well, it's okay at the moment. I initially tried to dodge away from it all the time, but yeah, Death Bomb. Managed to pull off a Death Bomb in Scarlet Devil, that's quite good considering the inconsistencies of it. And unfortunately dying right as the card was ending. I was just very slightly too far across, and that's what happens. Too bad, too bad. It was almost a 1LC with no focus. I would have been massively impressed if I managed that, but still, it's only a 1 death and 3 bombs clear thing of the entire thing, which is not bad at all. I failed 3 spell cards in the entire run, and, well, that's kind of why I'm not redoing this at the moment, because it's too damn good to redo. You know, I don't want to spend this much time playing it again. I don't know how long I spent doing that. Probably not all that long, actually, because I'm really quite good at floundering out anyway. It's the stage which I always get clipped in somewhere, or a death bomb doesn't work and I just rage quit because I died at the stage. It's not because I can't do it with less lives, it's because I want a perfect stage, because I'm a perfectionist and whatnot. So yeah, that concludes the no focus runs, I guess, because that is now a recording of, at the very least, of every no focus stage. And, well, one thing I was considering doing if I go back to do the LPs again in Lunatic mode is I was considering trying to do live no focus clears as like an extra stage thing. Just because I've already done them all basic, and I was figuring a live no focus might be okay, assuming that I can get to grips with doing no focus on my desktop. All of these no focus runs have been done on my laptop because I'm still more comfortable at movement on my laptop than my desktop, but as you well know, my laptop is not strong enough to record, so that's gonna be a bit of a thing, and I'm hoping when I get my monitor back that I can start doing no focus runs of stuff and I can get used to it. Because that would be very nice if I could somehow get to grips with doing full no focus runs. Maybe I'll do live ones later on. But that's enough talk for me, Gamer Cow, playing nothing because we were watching a replay, and join us next time when I play something because we're probably not going to watch a replay. So hopefully on the Touhou front it will be 10 desires, but I can't do anything about my monitor as you well know. So yeah, monitors, they need to be fixed now.